Dear learners, we are now into the third week, and in this week we would be studying some basic aspects of accounting. We all know that NGOs are not for profit making organizations, but they do need accounting. As we have seen earlier, that in legal procedures, one needs to submit the accounts also. So that is why the NGOs also need to have a proper accounting procedure. We have seen office documentation, we have seen all kinds of legal documentation for filing the returns and the tax exemptions. For all these purposes, we do need the accounting formats as well. And the Indian Societies Registration Act and the Trust Act, all these legal procedures, they have given a provision for certain accounts to be maintained by the NGOs, and that is why the requirement of accounting procedures for NGOs is very important. Now, why do we need accounts? That is another question which needs to be asked and which needs to be answered, because we always say that accounts are required for the corporate houses or for the business houses where the profits are being earned. But this is not true. And I can just give you a simple example like a household. Even in a household, we do require accounts. And we have to manage the expenditures, we have to see what is the financial strength or the financial health of ours. So all these are required for accounting process. Similarly, NGOs also need to have these accounting procedures. First, to avoid the misappropriation of funds. That means the funds should be used in a proper manner. The funds should be used for proper accounting standards, or the funds should be used for proper expenses, so misappropriation can be avoided. The other important aspect is that the NGO will be able to know that what are the expenses, what are the finances available, so that it can manage its resources very well. So the whole of financial management depends on accounting also. So that is why we require accounting, and specifically for NGOs, accounting becomes all the more important because they have to submit the accounts at the end of the financial year. Usually the financial year starts from the 1st of April to 31st of March. This was a special case this year because of the pandemic, but otherwise the financial year in Indian system starts from April 1st to 31st of March the next year. So this is the accounting year or the financial year where the accounts are being calculated for. Now let us see some of the basics. In this first session, we will be seeing some of the basics of accounts and how accounting is managed. Now, what is accounting? That is an important question which needs to be answered by all of us. We have different kinds of organizations, and here we are talking about not-for-profit organizations. Through the accounts, the organizations, they try to communicate the information in terms of finances, in terms of numbers, and they communicate the financial information of the organization. So basically we can say this is the language of business, and it is one of the most important and key functions of the business. So overall we can say that accounting is a means of communication of financial information for the organization. If we come to the technical definition, as per the American Institute of Certified Public Accounts, that is AICPA, you will see that it is the art of recording, classifying and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transactions and events which are in part at least of financial character and interpreting the results thereof. Now, if I just bifurcate this definition and if you see what it is, we can say that it is art of recording. That means you have to record the details of the expenses, the incomes and expenses. Then after recording, it has to be classified in certain manner. What kind of income, what kind of expenditure. Later on, in terms of balance sheets or trial balance, that is the other parts of accounts, one has to summarize the whole details of the recorded information, recorded and classified information, and then this information is interpreted, that what is the nature of the accounts, what is the nature of the whole activity, whether the organization is financially healthy, whether the organization is not financially healthy. All these interpretations can be made of. You must have heard certain words like surplus, deficits, credits, debits, all these things you must have heard of. These typical words, they are a part of accounts. Now, this is the classification of accounting, or these are some of the areas which are required for accounting. That means first of all it needs recording, then classifying, then summarizing and then interpreting. So, this is what is accounting in a nutshell. Now, let us see the details of each of the activities which happen in an account. Now, the first part is the recording. What is recording? Now, if you see in music we use records, in normal life we use records, that we have recorded certain information. In music we have recorded certain songs. In audiobooks you have recorded certain certain books in the audio format, etc., etc. So everywhere you hear the word recording. Now, recording is termed as bookkeeping in accounts. That means the records are maintained in form of a book, and it's kind of a log book. It's a long book in the manual form, if I may talk about. Otherwise, nowadays what happens, there are many softwares also which use the term bookkeeping, and there it is completely digitized and you can record the details in that digitized format. This also includes recording the transactions of any kind of financial nature, and there are books of accounts. The first entries are recorded based on certain rules, and we'll be seeing these rules later, and the process of recording happens in a systematic manner. This is very important to understand. Now, I'll give you a simile of this. Now, if you want to record a song, number of songs on any kind of recording base, then you see they are recorded in a systematic manner. You are not going to record half of the song or a part of one song, and then part of second song, and then part of one song, and then part of third song. So this is haphazard manner. Similarly, when we talk about the finances, they are being recorded in a systematic manner, and there is a certain set of rules, there is a certain set of procedure for this. We will be seeing it later. Now, what is classifying? This is another format where it is very important to understand that how the classification is to be done. In classifying, the raw data of transactions recorded in journal, they are classified into specific ledger accounts. We'll see what ledger is later on, but there is a format where these journals are classified into specific ledger accounts, and they involve sorting and grouping of recorded entries of similar nature under designated accounts. Certain segments which are to be recorded under broad classifications. They can be assets, they can be liabilities, capital, the revenues, the expense. So these are different types of classifications of accounts. Second last part in this is summarizing, and the classified accounts, they are summarized into financial statements such as trial balance, the income and expenditure account, the cash flow statements and the balance sheet. So trial balance and balance sheet are quite popular. These are the final accounts, and they are all the details which have been recorded and classified, they are being interpreted through these particular summarized accounts. So summarized financial statements, they are very useful for decision making process. As I said earlier, they try to we can interpret the results through this, and we can find out whether the NGO is healthy or financially healthy or not. So financial statements are often prepared on quarterly or annual basis. It depends completely on the organization. Usually if you prepare it on the quarterly basis, then what happens is it is quite useful in the nature is it doesn't require much of the work in the later stage, that is when the annual accounts need to be submitted. Interpreting. Now this involves analyzing the summarized financial statements. Again, it helps in decision making process, and interpretation is like what you make out of those final accounts or the financial statements. What is depicted in there, how to read it, what meaning does it give, all this comes under interpretation. So interpreted results help in making meaningful judgments which are regarded as the important decision making tool, and they tell about the financial situation of any organization. Now this is very important, whether accounts is an art or whether it is a science. This is a very typical way of saying that accounts may be an art, but it is a science as well. So accounting is always as an art and a science also. Why is it an art? Because it requires creative judgment and certain specified skills for performing the jobs of accounting, and they are based on universally accepted techniques just like other art techniques. Similarly, if we talk accounting as science, they are based on certain rules and principles. They are based on a body of knowledge, and it involves systematic recording of certain transactions. So it is an art as well as science. Now if you see the accounting cycle, now we just move on to the another aspect of accounts, that is an accounting cycle. So if you see the accounting cycle, you will find that there are around 5 steps or 5 stages of this accounting cycle. The first stage is recording the financial transaction from invoices. I'm using these technical words because these are the words which needs to be used while discussing the accounts. But I'll just tell you what are the invoices. In a simple manner, these are the bills. These are some written document in a prescribed format, in the bill format, where the information is giving that this particular product is of this value and how much has been paid for this value, etc. etc. So in simplest form, it is the bill. So first stage is recording the financial transactions from invoices. Then the second stage comes the posting. So you can see there are 5 stages. First is recording, then it is posting, then it is preparing, the fourth one is adjusting, and the final one is the financial statements. So first is recording financial transaction from the invoices. The second one is the posting the transactions to the ledger accounts. Third one is preparing unadjusted trial balance. All these terms we will be discussing later. The fourth one is adjusting entries for year end or rectified entries. If there is some misappropriation or there is some miscommunication regarding the accounts and they are being missed, then the entries are adjusted at the end of the year. And the fifth and the final stage is preparing the financial statements, the income and expenditure accounts, and the balance sheet. So this is where the accounting cycle is formed of 5 stages or 5 steps. Now coming to importance of accounting. Why accounts is important? First of all, it helps in setting the budget for future planning. It helps in decision making. It assesses the performance of the organization. It tries to assess the financial position of the organization. It helps in managing and controlling the financial resources. It tries to track the movement of cash, and it detects fraud and thefts. So these are the reasons why we need to use accounts. Now coming to one of the most important aspects of the account. We've just discussed the broader concept of accounting. Now we'll just move on to a format which is known as GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principle, and based on this the accounting principles are formed. And when we talk about GAAP, these are certain standards of accounting procedures. And the accountants, they are said to use these accepted principles and they must follow while preparing the financial statements. When we talk about the GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, it is a kind of a framework for comprehensive accounting rules, standards and industry specific accounting practices, and they are used for consistent recording and reporting of financial information. In India, the organizations are required to adhere to Indian accounting standards as per the rules of generally accepted accounting principles, and IAS are given under section 133 of Companies Act 2013. And Indian accounting standards are suggested and recommended by Accounting Standards Board of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICI, and they are notified by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs has listed around 39 Indian accounting standards as of 1st April 2020. So you can just go to the site of Ministry and you can find these listed 39 Indian accounting standards which are being used by the organizations in India. When we move on to the cash basis of accounting, we need to understand what exactly is cash basis. In this case, the transactions are recorded when cash is received or paid, and entries are recorded on the date of cash receipt and payment. Only those items are recorded which have a cash transaction. For example, assets are reported in financial statements in the year when payment was made against them. Therefore, assets cannot be reported in books even if asset is in use, and it does not depict the true financial picture. So when we talk about the cash basis of accounting, cash basis is not a very useful or very, you can say, very foolproof system. So it is important to know that cash basis of accounting does not depict the true financial picture of the organization. Therefore, it must be avoided. But in case of small organization where the accounting records are not to be posted or not to be shown to the public or for the auditing standards, for the auditing purpose, then cash basis of accounting can be used like we use in our houses or in any individual household. But otherwise it does not show the true financial picture, and it is always advisable to avoid it in a sense that to know and understand the true picture of the organization, the formal accounting standards should be used. There is another basis of accounting, that is accrual basis, and in this the transactions are recorded in the period as and when they are accrued or as and when they happen. Assets, liabilities, incomes and expenses are recorded in the period in which they occur and not when the cash is paid. It is considered as a scientific basis of accounting. It is always referred to as the mercantile basis of accounting. It provides real information about assets and liabilities of the organization. Now, let us see how accounting and NGOs are related. Non-governmental organizations working in India are required to comply with certain statutory guidelines or obligations pertaining to filing of returns and accounting system. Filing of returns we have already seen in earlier sessions. So that is why it is important for NGOs. The NGOs registered under the Companies Act are required to maintain their books of account on accrual basis of accounting, and it is always recommended to NGOs to follow the accounting standards notified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Accounting standards will help NGOs in maintaining uniformity in presentation of financial statements, proper disclosure and transparency. However, if an NGO is involved in any commercial or profit-making business, then it is mandatory for such an NGO to follow Indian accounting standards. Now, if it is involved in any profit-making business, then in that case, it has to be specified that how it remains an NGO. That is very important to understand. But IAS has to be followed while giving the accounts for auditing. For example, if an NGO is giving loans to small entrepreneurs, then it shall be considered as a commercial activity because it is going to get the interest out of it, and thus should follow the accounting standards. Some of the accounting standards may not be relevant for NGOs as they are not indulging in profit-making business. Certain NGOs, or in fact most of the NGOs, they receive donations and grants. Therefore, the income has to be reported in a proper format and the accounts have to be maintained. The expenses conducted by an NGO, they have to be shown against income in income and expenditure statements. The fixed assets of an NGO like land, they are to be reported and they can charge the depreciation as well. NGOs should maintain accounts for petty cash and cash expenditures as well, and they are required to maintain salary accounts for the salary paid to the staff and the volunteers. Now, what is an income for NGOs? So, these are certain income for NGOs: grants and donations, revenue from fundraising activities, interest and dividends from investments, profit from sale of fixed assets, profit from sale of investments and revenue from services. These are certain expenses for NGOs like maintenance and repair of building, administrative expenses, salaries, depreciation, losses from disasters such as flood or fire, loss from sale of assets, expense from implementation of a certain kind of a program. Now, this is all about the basics of accounting and how accounts are related to NGOs. In the next session, we would be seeing certain terms related to accounts and how these terms are being used for maintaining certain accounts. Thank you so much.